Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. It is time for a leaderboard update for 2024 Kentucky Derby. We had a tough weekend over this past Saturday and Sunday. Delays in Santa Anita due to weather, which was kind of laughable in hindsight if you watched the Gotham Stakes at Aqueduct. Laundry list of scratches across the board. NISO, Speak Easy to say the least, locked, etc., etc. So we're going to take a look back at the weekend stakes races, assess the performances, see where we're at on the Derby Trail leaderboard at the beginning of March Madness. But if you ever want to go back and look at previous prep races, I have them all in a playlist. You'll be able to find them really easy on the website or on the YouTube channel. So keep that in mind. Always, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Set the notifications so you don't miss out on anything. And let's get on it. We start with a heavy downpour in Gotham City, the perfect day for the Dark Knight to get out and do his business. But when I did my preview of the Gotham, I profiled a horse called Deterministic, who broke his maiden last August, but had not raced since. And my take on the thing was, coming off that long layoff, I'm going to need to see one. And I thought the pedigree was good with this multiple grade one winner, Liam's map. Well, my question was asked and answered. Deterministic got it done. El Grandio was the horse that I liked, got to the lead, set the quick pace. Maximus Meridius was the kind of narrative type of horse I saw when I went to the gym the other day and saw the word Maximus across this Jeep, this four-door Jeep wagon looking thing. But that he was stalking right there, and then Deterministic and Just a Touch behind those two leaders. And once they got everything sorted, turning for home, El Grandio peaked out front as he often has done. But the stretch run in the slop at Aqueduct was his undoing once again. Maximus Meridius actually faded before that. That allowed Deterministic to slip down on the inside and get through the 7 fairly easily. Then the number 10, Just a Touch, took the outside and eventually was able to pass as well. Deterministic kicked clear by 2 lengths. Just a Touch finished second. Good run by both the top 2 finishers. Just a Touch was just his 3rd career start and just the 2nd start for the winner off the 7th month break. He ran the 1 race in August, broke his maiden, and then came back 7 months later in these challenging conditions and got the job done. That's just sometimes you just don't see that kind of thing coming. El Grandio appears to be staying for the Wood Memorial, but I was hoping maybe that they might try to move him away from New York and see how he runs somewhere else. But we'll see. Maybe he can get a dry track and see if that changes anything. But not really sure there. Just a Touch was caught a little wide around that turn and couldn't catch the winner. Came home strong. Cox says he'll point him to either the Wood Memorial next month or he'll wait till April 6th for the Bluegrass Stakes. At Keeneland, Deterministic, given how he pulled clear in the stretch at a mile, adding distance doesn't look to be a problem for him. He's likely to be pointed at the Wood as well. So that was New York's version. Let's travel south to Gulfstream Park for their version, Fountain of Youth. Highly anticipated race. We had Door Knock. We had Locked. We had the Speedster Speakeasy for Todd Pletcher garnering a ton of attention off his recent win. Victory Avenue was trained by Gustavo Delgado, was to complete a absolutely loaded field. Then came the disappointments. It began with the scratch of Victory Avenue, then Locked. Merritt had already scratched to run on Friday. And then we got up to the race. There was 5 horses left. Speakeasy was keeping things fair at even money, keeping Door Knock at 4 to 5, which I was appreciative of. And then as they get out to the post parade and are heading toward the gate for post time, Speakeasy gets away from the jockey, Irad Ortiz, and runs around ambulances and in a place where he shouldn't have been. And then they just erred on the side of caution and decided to scratch him. Don't think the horse was harmed in any way. So that was that. Then we were down to 5. Dornoch drops to 1-5, and basically with no challengers, and he just goes out for a jog. He rates right there with the long shot Ladombro. Had I had my laptop, I probably would have bet something on Ladombro at 27-1 just to place and show. But anyway, or a straight exacta, something like that. Because he ran pretty well, held in there for second, but with nobody was any match for Dornoch. He geared down on a stretch home and pulled away easily. So I think that Dornoch's going to need another test. So either they go to the March 30th Florida Derby, or they might come up north for the Bluegrass. We'll have to see. Then we had the Saturday night special at Turfway Park, the John Paglia Memorial Stakes, which turned out to be a really good race and maybe the most competitive field of all of them, except maybe Gotham. But the last 2 years, we've had a Derby winner and the runner-up prepping at Turfway. So we had breaking out of post 11. Jockey Axel Concepcion was able to slide in behind the front runners and get that perfect stalking trip, allowing to accomplish Brad Cox's goal of keeping Encino focused. One of his assistants, Tessa Walden, said he's fairly nonchalant and distractible. I saw the same thing in my preview, but I used the word lollygagging. So it sounds like we were both on the same page there. So the sleeper I had was Blue Eyed George, who actually ended up going off at 7-2, which was less than the 5-1 Encino. I did not think he would get bet down like that, but he was. Also, Epic Ride was in the mix as well. Epic Ride made his move around that far turn. Encino was tracking all the way. Those two rallied up toward the front, with Epic Ride taking over the lead. Bolt at Midnight was cooked. Blue Eyed George held well. He was right in there with those other two horses, and he looked like he was going to make a comeback. He made up a little bit of ground, but just wasn't able to continue pace. So he was outkicked by the top two. Encino outkicked Epic Ride for the victory. And both of these horses should be back for the Jeff Ruby Stakes next month. I would say the winner of that outcome is going to be maybe the Wise Guy type of horse at the Derby, because people know trends. They see trends. One of these horses could be the next Rich Strike or Two Phils. I like Encino, sired by Nyquist. Nyquist was a horse that defied the label of being solely a sprinter. Also the horse that went on to win a Kentucky Derby. So, lastly, we go over to Sunday for the San Felipe and bad weather. So anyway, I guess the weather didn't hit quite like they thought it would. So people were really critical of the cancellation. But after Niso scratched, we did have a 5-horse field that was reduced to 4 horses. I didn't have any interest in the race myself. McVeigh and Scatify were no match for the duo of Bob Baffert's Wind Me Up and Imagination. Both of those horses just kind of like double teamed them and got out with too big a pace. Then those two battled it out down the stretch with Imagination, who I liked watching his replays, came out on top. So I feel like I had a pretty good indication of what Imagination could do from my preview. But with the top 2 finishers ineligible to compete in the Derby, and those other 2 weak also-rans getting points, and significant points at that. 3rd place and 4th place points are nothing to scoff at. That's 10 and 15 points. So just really just officially useless, that race to me. Bad way to wrap it up, but a lot of people complain about California racing, the small fields, the Bob Baffert controversies and all that kind of stuff. But it is starting to indicate to me that they're just having a down year this year. And a lot of it stems from the suspension of Baffert. So anyway, wrap things up. The Derby leaderboard is growing, And there are some contenders that might be on the outside looking in if they don't start earning some points. Specifically, I point to Nash and Otto the Conqueror. But I think your top four, Timberlake, Dornoch, Sierra Leone, Track Phantom, all ranked accordingly because they have all proved what they can do. Still need to see Fierceness again. Maybe a bounce back would be good for his prospects. The rest also have some work to do as well. So everybody, I think, will have the likelihood of one more prep race. That's opportunity. So hopefully they can take advantage. Also, don't forget this weekend's Tampa Bay Derby. Preview is coming soon. Thanks for watching.